Okay, today we're going to be working on looking at patterns of coordinate points and what types of lines those generate. We're on page 47 in your workbook. This is lesson 7 problem set. So please get out your workbook, open up to page 47. And today it would really be helpful if you have some kind of straight edge, whether it's a ruler or a side of a book to use. I don't have a straight edge, and you're going to notice some of my lines are not quite as straight as they should be. So first job, we need to complete a chart. By completing the chart, they just mean take these points and you're going to write them as a coordinated pair. So we need to use parentheses and a comma. So this would be coordinate pair 2, 3. We have 4, 5. And we have 6, 7. So go ahead and fill out your chart with your ordered pairs. And next we're going to plot those points on our coordinate plane here. So 0, 1. So here's x is at 0 and y is 1 above that. Now let's move over to 2. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a little tricky because each line is not numbered. And here we're going over to 6, 7. And it says use a straight edge to connect those points. So I'm going to do my best here to draw a straight edge. There we go. And notice I continued my line straight through the y-axis and all the way out here because remember, lines are never ending. They keep going on and on in each direction. Now it says to write a rule showing the relationship between the x and the y coordinates. So if we look here, we see the y coordinates are greater than the x coordinates. So I want to see well, what's true about both of these? Here we have 0, 1. All right, well, 1 is 1 more than 0. Is that the rule? If we add 1 to x, is that the rule? Well, 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 1 is 5, 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm thinking then that the rule is y is equal to x plus 1. If we were to write a sentence about that, we could say y is 1 more than x. So here I wrote this in 2 different ways. I wrote an expression first, and then I just wrote a sentence. You can use either way to express the relationship. Write an expression or write a sentence. Y is 1 more than x. So name 2 other points that are on this line. So now we kind of want to make sure our rule works. So if we look here, let's go to a point that's not on our chart. So if I go to, let's go to 1. If I go to 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. That's on the line, so that works. 1, 2. And what if I went all the way out here to 10? Here's 10. And there's 11. So that's just kind of checking to make sure that our rule consistently works throughout our coordinate plane. And it looks like y is always going to be 1 more than x on this line. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is below number 1 on your page. And again, you have to complete the chart and plot the points. I'm not going to go ahead and write all of the coordinates here. You know how to do that. Just make sure you're using parentheses and a comma. I'm going to go ahead and plot these points. Here we have some fractions, but you guys are really smart about fractions. Fractions would be in between these whole numbers. So 1/2, halfway between 0 and 1. There's that coordinate point. Now I'm going to plot 1, 2. So 1, 2. Now I'm going to go to 1 1/2. 1.5 goes up to 3. This line's a lot steeper than the one we just did. Now let's go to 2, 4. Okay, we're going to connect those. You're going to use a straight edge to do yours. I'm going to try and do this. Okay, so would zip up like that. So we need to figure out a rule here. Again, let's take a look. If we add 1, that doesn't work because this, if you said 1 more than a half, or maybe you could say a half, like a half and a half is 1. But if we add a half to x here, that would give us 1.5. So adding is not working in this relationship. Let's think what's something else we could do to x. Well, what if we multiply x? Because I'm looking at here and I see a 1. 1 times 2 is 2. This is what really gave it away to me. 2 times 2 is 4. Well, if you multiply a half times 2, 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1.5 times 2, well, that equals 3. So the rule here, I'm going to write it as an expression first. Y equals x. And I'm going to write this using this dot here because what's going to get funky is if you write a multiplication sign as an x, it would look like XX. So x times 2. We looked at that symbol earlier this year in the classroom and saw that. X times 2. Okay, or you could write y is 2 times x, that's an is 2 times the value of x. I'm just going to write 2 times x. Either way, you can write this as a sentence or, sloppy handwriting, Mrs. Grill, you can write it as an expression. Now we have to kind of make sure our rule works though. Let's see, if we go back onto our grid, what's the number we didn't use? We didn't use 3. Let's go to 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. So if this rule works, yep. So that's another pair, 3 and 6. If we go out to the 4, our coordinate plane doesn't go high enough. Might be 8, but I'm not sure. So let's go to 2.5. 2.5 here. Well, 2.5 doubled is 5. 2.5 times 2, and there's our 5. So we have 2.5 and 5 as 2 more points that could be on that line. Okay, notice this line is a little steeper than this line. Do you see that? So it seems like when we multiply, it affects how steep our line is. Okay, last thing we're going to do now is turn to page 48, and you're going to notice they've already drawn many lines on this coordinate plane. We're going to just take a look right now at line A. So here's line A, and they're asking you to give the coordinates for 3 points on this line. So it could be any 3 points. You might have different answers than a classmate. I'm just going to go right here, and I'm going to say, all right, well, here's a 10. Let's just look at 10, since that's clear. So we have 1 point we could put at 10, 10. It's kind of neat. They have the same coordinate, y and x. Let's move out to 20. Oh, wow. Look at that. We have 20, 20. That's another coordinate. If we were to follow this line down here, this actually crosses right through the origin. I don't know if you noticed that. 0, 0 would be another coordinate point, but let's go to 12. 11, 12. And that would be 11, 12, 12. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So this line that passes right through the origin, if we wanted to write a rule, we could just write the rule is y is equal to x, or x is equal to y. So make sure you answer the Google form, and then, well, that will be automatically sent to me when you hit send. Okay, good work.